ThinJacks are steel envelopes. They are specifically made to fit into the curved gap between the flange's bolt holes and outer edge. When the ThinJacks are inflated, they appear like a curved cylinder. The inflation means that the two parts of the flange separate, drawing bolts through the flange bolt holes. Removal of well spools and annulus valves below the Christmas tree. Removal of a Christmas tree bonnet to allow the valve to be changed. Removal of well flow line to change well function. Swapping out a Christmas tree that is either not working or before installing a blowout preventer. Sometimes traditional methods such as wedges, hammers and grinders are ineffective or inappropriate for health and safety reasons. A ThinJack can also fit into a gap as tight as 1 mm, which is significantly less than the space needed for conventional flange spreaders. This picture shows 3 ThinJacks. The top one is unused. The middle one is inflated after pushing with significant force, and the lower one is fully inflated after pushing with similar amounts of force. ThinJacks and thin shims are packed in weather-resistant cases. Thin shims in a range of thickness are rack-mounted for easy selection, helping the time-efficient flange separation. The matching thin shims pack the flange gap, filling any remaining space. All equipment is designed to be used in conjunction with integral safety barriers, and finally, puncture-resistant personal protection equipment. Our experienced technician will judge which ThinJacks to inflate so that the flange is separated evenly. The valves on the manifold allow us to control this. The film shows a cleared gap with just enough space for the ThinJack to fit. In the bottom right corner is a gauge displaying the number of bar pressure generated by the pump. Every bar of pressure equates to 14.5 psi. The higher the pressure that accumulates, the more force is created. Gradually, the hydraulic pressure is converted into forces which push apart the steel plates of the ThinJack, causing the flange to separate. The flange gap is regularly measured. If the gap is uneven, the flange is levelled with the ThinJack system before continuing with the separation. Overall, the ThinJack separation process is invaluable when other upward pulling forces, such as a drill string, are inadequate, unavailable, or a sideways pull is needed. When viewing the ThinJack operation, it appears that the jack is simply pushing. These pictures show that the bolts are drawn through the bolt holes, overpowering the binding forces from deposits of rust and magnetite that would prevent separation. Stocks of generic ThinJacks for common API 6A flange sizes are immediately available. However, if time allows, the flanges are measured so that the surface area of the ThinJacks are manufactured as wide as possible. This means greater stroke and force from the ThinJacks. Since ThinJack's establishment in 2005, we have successfully completed separations for clients in the North Sea, Northwest Europe, Australasia, Africa, the Middle East, and the USA.